You're so pretty.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you.
Okay, is this ready?
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Not Us podcast, hosted by two sisters, myself, Angela, and that hottie over there, my sister Sam, where we talk about change and choice and we celebrate all the messy bits in between.
We're not gurus, doctors, therapists, or witches. The stories and opinions told in this episode are our own, for entertainment only, and subjected to change. Swearing is likely. And please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate all of you, and thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us feedback. And if you can do it on our platforms, that would be super, super helpful.
So, episode 23, here we are. I heard something on the radio the other day on Heart FM. They were talking about glow downs. And I was like, oh, that's a term I haven't heard before, because normally we're talking about glow ups and how to glam ourselves up a bit more. But they were talking about glow down. And I think it was in the context actually of corporate and how you find people in corporate jobs just end up coming in vibrant, and then slowly but surely the life gets sucked out of them, like the dementors have just flown over and removed all your happy memories, and they become grayer and unkept and basically are glowed down by the severity of 95. That was the context. So that's what we're talking about. Glow up versus glow down.
Should we maybe define what a glow up and a glow down is?
Yes, good idea.
Okay. So, according to Google, a glow up is a significant positive transformation in physical appearance, confidence, or life circumstances. Well, a glow down is a conscious shift towards minimalism, comfort, and embracing one's natural, unenhanced state.
Dear God.
Does that make any sense?
Sounds horrific to me.
What, the glow down or the glow up?
Glow down.
No. Look, I think my understanding of what a glow up is when someone has undergone a positive transformation. Maybe they've lost weight, they've, gone the beauty route, maybe they've changed their hairstyle. There's a significant improvement in their energy and appearance. Whereas a glow down, while it can be sometimes negative, Kylie Jenner often has a glow down every now and again when she takes the lip fillers out and embraces her more natural, youthful look, which I think actually suits her quite nicely. But then, 2 or 3 weeks later, those lips are pumped right back up, the glow up. So what a glow down is removing, maybe, not shaming anyone, lashes and hair extensions and fillers and, that glamour look, the glamour look.
Taking those boobs down a couple of sizes.
If they're not your natural boobs.
Yes. Or they could be taking them down as part of a glow up. You never know. So it's quite personal, really. I actually had a conversation with Chloe, who we've had on our podcast before, who does my lashes. Ding, ling, ling, ling. I don't know why it always has to come with the sound effect when I flap my eyelashes. But I was asking her, because she's in the beauty industry, has she found that many people are going after a slightly more natural state? Because that's actually become a little bit more fashionable at the moment than heavy glow up. And she said she has. And my question to her was, do you think that that is a budgetary thing? Is it financially motivated? Or is it because that's the new trend? And it was interesting because she said sometimes it is, people think, okay, I'm getting a bit high maintenance with my nails and my lashes and my everything. So they opt to stop doing them. But what she has found in a positive way is that then they usually end up using that money anyway to do massages or facials or doing other things that are well-being related. So that's something that I didn't think about, because in my old school actress mentality, if you stopped doing all of those things, you were basically letting yourself go. For me, it's like, oh my gosh, you're either struggling and so you can't afford to do them, or you just are giving up on life and letting yourself go. But in fact, it can be a very conscious, I'd like to be more natural. And the trend is a little bit now. We've seen beautiful models, everything natural, hair natural, freckles. You know, you're seeing some of the blemishes and not this sort of porcelain look. So, as always, these things make me reassess and think about my own beauty choices.
I suppose as an actress, you've got to stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. So your weight's got to be on point, your look has got to be relevant so that you're not looking aged, because we've had a discussion about how you've sometimes got your roles. It wasn't on the casting couch, but I remember you telling me that once you wanted a particular role, and so you made sure that you went to the theater where they would be having lunch, and there was a possibility of you walking in or bumping in to the casting director and being in that look and feel of the particular role that you wanted. Just so that it doesn't sound like you were on the casting couch working your skills.
Do what you got to do.
I also think that if we look back at history, so if we look at like the flapper style of the 20s, I do think that style and trends are relevant to what's happening in the economy. It's also relevant to lifestyle trends. And so we are seeing, I don't think there's one mainstream trend. I think, you can find yourself in different camps and you can move in and out of those camps. But a question, when you're thinking about your own beauty standards, what are you considering or what are you thinking about? Because out of the two of us, you are more of the glamour.
The glamour.
Whereas I am like more natural, but that doesn't mean I don't like dressing up, and I'm very mood dependent.
Yeah.
Just don't put like pokey things in my eyes or in my head. I'm very sensitive to touch.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's not something that I guess I'm a little bit more classic in my style, but it's not really for anyone else. It's just the things that make me feel whatever I'm trying to feel, feminine or whatever that might be. So I sometimes can be a little bit chameleon-like. So if I'm going to boxing, I am dressing the part. I'm giving it all the right clothes and
looking so butch with her long ponytail hair, her mermaid waves.
Got to do it. But if I'm going to a tango class, then I will be giving it all of the tango vibes. So I love even off of stage embodying the things that I do, and I do that quite physically. So I guess then just how I show up every day is just like with the look that makes me happy. Like I love J-Lo. She must be my absolute icon in terms of look and her body and her youthfulness. But I think it's not so much, although she's quite glam, it's a more natural-ish kind of glam. So it's not just about having long hair and lashes and things like that. It's just being a little bit more, what's the word? Kept. I mean, I just like to look after myself, but that includes looking after my body, like going to the gym, the stuff that you don't see. So you see my face or my hands, but I actually really like to make sure that what's underneath all of that is taken care of as well. And then internally, really importantly, that I glow up internally, because what I do find is no matter how much makeup I put on, no matter what I do with lashes and nails and hair and all of those things, if I am in a bad space, then all of that is glowed down. Like that's the quick way to glow down, is just by, not taking care of the insides as well.
Yeah, how you feel internally will come out externally by the choices that you make, how you are showing up, how you're dressing up, etc. J-Lo is a Leo. What's the obsession with J-Lo? What's the obsession with J-Lo?
She's gorgeous for a start, and she has defied aging. And that's something that I really love, is not playing by the aging rules. So she has continued to dance, continued to move her body, exercises. She plays different roles and is so chameleon-like. And then I just like her whole kind of, maybe it's the slightly more Latino style, which matches my body a little bit with having boobs and a booty. I just love that she's not going, okay, well, I'm a certain age now, so I have to stop doing things, or I shouldn't be glamorous anymore. Or like I'd said, having long hair and now it's got to be short because you get to a certain age. And so I just love the freedom that she has in her fashion style. But I do try and look for inspiration on Instagram as well. I try and look at, for those of us who start kind of going, okay, I'm getting to a certain age. Am I supposed to do other things look wise? I often will go on there and just say, like, show me the hottest people that you have in the 60s or 70s, like above my age, and see these people defying all the rules. And that doesn't mean like glowing up in a cliche sense. That means they are choosing their own style. They looking funky, kind of really out there. And I'm like, I try and be inspired by that. And so that's where my own self-care ends up coming from. What about you? Who's your glow up inspiration?
I just want to say one thing about J-Lo is, I mean, she's got quite a bit of negative publicity of late, but she has always had an amazing routine in terms of maintaining her body and her looks. And I remember, I think it was like in the early 2000s where there was a report that she's up at like 4:30 to do her exercise because she's got that curvaceous body. And she's absolutely beautiful and great energy and a Leo.
What about you? Who's your glow up icon?
I mean, I would probably say the most beautiful woman in the world for me is Angelina Jolie. And what I love about Angelina Jolie is, and I think I'm a lot like that, we can be quite feminine, but then we can also be quite warrior-like. You know, when I'm going to the gym, I'm not in a ponytail. I'm in a bun and headphones, and we're there to work. Not that I'm saying that you're not there to work, but I mean, I have seen videos of Angela punching the punching bag, and it's like, tap, 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 tap. Girl. So I think it would be Angelina Jolie. I think it's that feminine, but still she maintains an element of, I'm going to call it a warrior, but it's not necessarily a warrior. I mean, you can see this is a woman who could hold her own, but she still has this incredible feminine element. And then I do like her style sometimes. I think that she's kind of done the flowy dresses for like long enough, but I think it's also because she's so lean, and so that kind of suits her. Whereas I'm more, from a fashion perspective, I like more structure, and I'm definitely not a flowy dress kind of girl, just because it doesn't suit me. I don't have the boobs. I've definitely got the booty, but then I'd go for something that's a little bit more structured because I have more defined shoulders, and so we would kind of play with the silhouette, work with what we've got. Does that answer that?
I mean,
And I kind of like more natural, softer glam kind of look. But again, that's because that suits me. Being over glamorized doesn't suit me, and it's also not what I like.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm still distracted by thinking about Angelina Jolie. I think she's all of our hall pass as well.
Listen, Ange, I mean, her and Brad Pitt were my fantasy threesome. Then they got together, and I was like, I'm here. I'm here. Now I'm just like, you know what? I'll just take Angelina Jolie. Thanks very much. Although I did see a clip of her the other day, and she was not looking great. But hey, we are all entitled to a glow down.
We all have a bad
red carpet.
We just don't have cameras outside of our doors seeing us.
That's why it takes me like 2 hours to get ready for our filming. Because, I'm quite happy to have my hair in a bun. But I must say, since I've lost weight, I do feel more inspired to put on makeup and to make more of an effort. I think it's also like as you get older, you have to put in a little bit more effort to make those features pop a little. What do you think?
It's a good point about when you lose weight, if you're choosing to lose weight and you feel good, and so you naturally just want to glow up, you're more inclined to be extrovert, to go out, to take selfies, to do all of that stuff, get to the gym and just to be around people. But what that makes me think of is that when we're talking about glow down, that can very often start in the same place where you're not feeling good. And I think there's a bunch of reasons that could happen, including corporate. And that doesn't mean, a lot of people are absolutely exhilarated from being in corporate and it gives them all the excitement to glow up. But if you're really tired and you are having to get up really early in the morning, catch trains for 2 hours to get to work, it's like, do you have the time or the energy to still spend an hour doing your hair and makeup or getting to the gym or whatever it is that helps you to glow up? Same with mothers with newborns and toddlers and kids. Like from the minute you open your eyes, they're these small humans that require your attention. Like it can be really hard to keep your glow up as opposed to starting to allow these things to make you glow down.
I really admire people, women and men, who are able to put themselves first before looking after everyone else. I'm not wired that way. So for me, it's very easy to get into the stresses of life and not nurturing myself. I think I am very aware of presenting in a particular manner, but then it's like you're speaking about the energy and having the energy to really invest in yourself so that you feel your absolute best. And I think I really do admire people that are able to put themselves first, regardless of what's around them. And then there's that saying, your external world is a reflection of what's happening on the inside. And 100%, I think we live quite busy lives. I mean, I don't know how you guys in the UK do it, especially traveling an hour and a half each way. That's 3 hours of your day, 3 times a week. It's 9 hours of traveling, waking up so that you can look good to get into the office, being on a train or some form of public transport for an hour and a half each way. And so it's the stresses of life, it's the time, it's your internal energy. And then it's also the culture in which you live in. Because let me tell you, the Netherlands isn't a permanent glow down. The Netherlands effect is real. This is a country that believes in balance. They're very practical. And so it's very easy for people to start living and presenting quite low key.
Very subtle. Presenting in a low key kind of way.
Low key. Yes. Practical is another word. Very practical dresses. And that was quite interesting for me moving here because I am by no means a slave to fashion, but I do like to express myself. And that's probably why I wear so much black. It's because the favorite colors here are my least favorite colors: brown, orange, and blue. And let's throw in a little bit of animal print with orange. I'm like, what the hell? And so they source differently here in the Netherlands. And then you go to the UK and it's like, okay, that's more my vibe. I mean, I should actually just go to Berlin. That's probably more my vibe as well. So even like in terms of corporate culture, I've worked in companies back in SA that were quite suited and booted, guys and girls, so you came into the office, you had your workwear, high heels, and I loved that. Come to the Netherlands and it's like not even casual Fridays every day. I mean, I've seen people in the office in shorts. I'm like, but that's not even like fashionable shorts. What the hell are you going like, you just walked out of the gym? What the hell? So it's like completely different. Much like you, I love to dress up and be in the occasion. So give me a reason to be all glamour and, big dress, etc. I am there like a bear.
Yeah.
Let us go to a costume party, pimps and prostitutes. I am there.
Giving it.
Angels and devils, I am there. Fishnet stockings and hot pants, I'm there with my black wings.
Go to parties, I am there in full commitment.
There is no one that is more committed to a look than Angela. But that is because you are an actress. You have to go all the way in,
All the way.
full character. It's not, I look the character, but I'm not embodying it. And let me ask you a question. What is your philosophy in terms of aging? Because I think there are 3 camps.
Okay.
Should I tell you what I think the 3
I was
camps
gonna
are?
say, give me those 3 camps.
I think it's aging naturally,
Mhm.
aging
What is aging naturally? Does that mean without any cosmetic?
intervention. You're going to allow your lines to show up. You're going to do, it's naturally. Gray hair, maybe you're not going full gray. Maybe you're still coloring your hair, but it's low key. You're not doing too much. Sarah Jessica Parker, she's allowing those lines to show up and not erasing them. For me, that's aging naturally. Then there's aging gracefully. I'm currently in that camp. Does not mean that you are not doing Botox and whatever. You are taking the aging process and you are adding a layer of grace over it. And then there is my face is changing, so I'm going to be in control of what that might look like. Hello, Joan Rivers. I'm going out frozen. Do you think those are the 3 categories?
I think there are blurred lines between them, but I just want to say that Kris Jenner looks amazing.
She looks younger than her daughters.
Listen, the new wave of whatever people are doing is so good at the moment. You're just like, wow, girls.
It's called the deep plane facelift.
Oh, just let me make a note of that quickly.
I'll send you notes after the recording.
Anyone is interested, deep plane facelift.
Facelifts.
I sit in between aging gracefully and make me look like a 16-year-old girl, who just is perfection. No, I'm kidding. I think that aging gracefully for me is being kind to myself. Here's where I go right to that middle ground again, but it really is. So being kind to myself is the same way as people decide what haircut that they want to have. And you're okay with going in and coloring your hair and cutting it and styling it. That is deciding on a look. That's the one aspect. If I don't want to have crow's feet crawling across my face, then I'm happy to pop a little bit of Botox in there to take those little things away. And it's a weird thing for me. Like, I don't mind doing some light cosmetic stuff. I'm a little bit more nervous of kind of implanting things into my body. So
At this stage.
yes, because this series is all about choice and change and celebrating the messy bits in between.
And sometimes it's about Samantha calling Angela out and forcing her to be truthful.
You know what? You're making me sound like all I do is cosmetic. I mean, I literally have a little bit of Botox like twice a year.
Sis, if you could afford it, do not. I mean, I know that I was wrong in saying that you have a Botox obsession. I apologize about that. It's not an obsession because we can't afford it for it to be an obsession. If we could, it would be no lines ever.
That's right. Exactly. So that is
Own it.
aging gracefully for me. It's just doing it gently and kindly. We don't need to rush the effects of the aging process.
I agree. But I can tell you that I don't think I would be opposed to going into lane number 3 when the time is right. That's Kris Jenner. That's lane number 3. I mean, have you seen Lindsay Lohan?
She looks
amazing.
She looks incredible. And I think this is the weird thing. When you are living with someone, you don't see the big changes. The change is a transition. It's not like you go in to have some glow up done and then you walk out looking completely different. Well, unless you're having fillers, then that's possible. But it's like you do little bit. And so, like, I hadn't seen Lindsay Lohan for ages. And then suddenly I was like, who's that gorgeous girl? And then it was her. But then it ends up messing with you a little bit, because when you're looking at that for someone else, you don't know them anymore. It feels like it's not them. And I suppose that poses the question of how much of what you look like on the outside is you on the inside. It gets really confusing for people. So I suppose when I say I sit in the aging gracefully camp a little bit, is that I want to glow up and keep things looking fresh, but I don't want to not look like myself either. So that's where I get a little bit like nervous. But then I don't know, when you're 86, do you look like
You're not
yourself?
going to look at yourself. I once read this comment that your face changes as you age. And so it's your choice whether you want to allow your change to happen naturally or whether you want to alter it through the surgeon's hand. I think it's always your choice. Now, if we're going back to Lindsay Lohan, her 20s were rough. She looks amazing, but I think what she looks on the outside is also where she is at in her life on the inside, because that inner glow does seem to come through. And she could have done great cosmetic corrections, because, I mean, she's had her nose, her eyes. She looks fresh as a daisy. Yes, her face is slightly different, but it would be slightly different anyway, because we know her as a 21-year-old. She is now a 36-year-old. Wow. So, that maturing would have happened anyway. And she's probably looking better than even if she had been healthy in her 20s. She's probably still looking better than she would have naturally aged. That's when it's done well. When we see overinflated lips and we see fillers like cheeks that are like the whole face just looks disproportionate, like overfilled cheeks, jawlines that look very square. There's no feminization to the face. That for me is not attractive. Also, when they're not wearing makeup, they look so hard because the feminization of the face is just not there. I think you and I are quite fortunate that we do have good genes and we are good-looking women and we were good-looking girls. And so now we're just enhancing and preserving what we have. One is seriously considering a little bit of a neck lift. I mean, I study my sister. I'm like, why is it that your neck is so tight? Because I've looked at like the family. She's like, oh, no. It's because I smile so much. I asked her about her cheeks. Oh, no, because I smile so much. I'm like, Angela, I smile a lot too. Angela's of the
my cheeks. I've always
do not till category. I, on the other hand, am like, no, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that.
I always tell one of my closest friends, Dr. Dion Fayers, is a reconstructive plastic surgeon. He was just the man that I trust with giving you a little bit of glow up. But I don't live in South Africa now.
So she has to pay.
I've let myself go. I'm aging naturally now.
Yes, Benjamin Button. Yes, Benjamin, you are aging backwards.
That's right. And that is my affirmation. On a serious note, though, for many, many years, from my 30s already, and maybe even my 20s, I used to do these wonderful affirmations about defying aging and defying gravity. And, how can I absolutely defy aging? And how can my body and my cells and my being defy aging? And when you do those affirmations and you allow your body not to feel like it's just got to slow down, I'm sure it has some kind of impact. I mean, look at me, I'm 84.
And you don't look a day older than 84.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, but what about, how do you glow up and not allow yourself to glow down if you can't afford to have cosmetic intervention? Or your life isn't such that you go to the gym? Like, what are the natural ways that we can give ourselves a healthy, natural glow? And how can we keep ourselves as best as we can?
Well, I think there is a wise old lady in our life. I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me not call her old.
Were you
There's a
talking about,
wiser, say again?
I thought you were talking about me for a second.
No. We have a wiser family member who has always said, one of her famous quotes is, "You can be sick, but you don't have to look sick."
Oh.
And it's one of our aunts, and she has always taken the natural approach. So you can walk. If she was sitting here, she would say, "Well, you don't have to go to the gym. You could be doing exercises home. You could be walking." She walks quite a lot. You could be jogging. And I remember, she had 2 jobs at one stage. She looked after nursery school kids, and the hours were quite long. And she would take a 2-hour lunch break because she worked the later hours. And during that lunch break, she would go home, she would go for a jog. So I think there are things that you can do. Eating well, like you said, when you were going through your cancer journey, and even now, you make sure you're very conscious about what it is that you're putting into your body. And that doesn't mean that everything's organic or whatever, but you're making the right choices that you can afford. And if we look at her, she doesn't have many wrinkles. In actual fact, I don't think she has wrinkles. But we also are quite fortunate that as I'm saying that here, we can see the movement in my forehead. We are quite fortunate that we have genes that we age a little slower. So if we look at our mom, 71, she looks great. Our aunts, they all look great. But I think there are lifestyle choices that don't require you to go to the doctor or to have money necessary. So you can do these things without spending or breaking the bank.
Yeah. So you can do natural things if you choose.
Lifestyle, it's always lifestyle.
Exactly. And
It's choices.
that's the thing. It's like, if it's my choice to have a little bit of Botox or filler or whatever, whoever's choosing to do something cosmetic, that's their choice. If it's your choice to not have any of that and to allow your body just to do what it's going to do, that's your choice. Absolutely. So it really is what you and I certainly are all for, is allowing people to be themselves and just try and be the healthiest, best version of themselves that they can be if they want to. You also have the choice to do nothing and sit around and eat whatever you want. And that's the thing. It's personal choice. You don't need to do any of this stuff. You can lie on the couch all day eating chocolate.
And
You want.
we are probably not going to vibe because our energies are just not going to be the same.
Yeah.
So you're probably not going to like us, and that's okay. No problem there. Watch us thrive. In terms of what is a glow up and a glow down, I think for me, it comes down to all about your energy. So when your energy's up, you're going to feel great, you're going to be making the right choices, etc. And that is a choice every single day. Our energy doesn't always stay up, so we've got to do the things that help us keep our energy up and also respect the cycles of the energetic flow. And then I think glow down is, again, when your energy is maybe suppressed or it's not where you want it to be. But it could also be you just need a rest.
Yeah.
And that's also okay. But it's always those cycles. So your energy should be going up and down and flowing. It's when you stay stuck in a particular space. And let's also be real. Life happens. There can be pressures, there can be big changes in your life that you weren't expecting and you are trying your best. It could be you've got family over for 2 weeks and you're not doing your daily meditation or whatever it might look like. But it's about finding those micro moments and making those micro choices so that the overall quality of your life is reflective in how you're showing up energetically.
Yeah.
Face, body, fashion, all of it.
Striking a pose. I remember years ago when I was going through a very sad time in my life, no matter how glam I looked, because I was performing, doing lots of stuff that allowed me to be very glam, but my eyes were dead all the time. And I didn't know that. But a friend of mine, once I started coming out of that space, said to me, "Oh, this is the first time your eyes are alive." And it was years. And like, that's the thing. It's from the inside out, not the outside in. The outside won't fix the inside.
And we see that in beautiful people that are just rotten inside. And their beauty quickly fades in your eyes when you get to see, oh, you actually just are not a nice person. And vice versa, where someone might not necessarily on first impressions be that attractive, but you spend time with them and their energy is just so magnetic. And you're like, wow, this person is so attractive. But it is interesting that the eyes are the doorway to the soul. So you can always see what's happening in someone's life, regardless of what they look, because I think a lot of us are very good at putting our mask and knowing that we need to get through certain things and we have to show up in certain ways. But it's always in the eyes, whether someone is alive on the inside or if they're just having to do what they need to do.
Yeah,
To get through.
it makes me think that sometimes it's like the outside is the story that we are telling the world. It's almost like the cover of the book. And that might be the challenge that I would put to myself and to us, is to always dig a little bit deeper with people. So even if someone on the outside doesn't look like they glow down, that might just be our own perception. Like, just open that book a little bit more and see what's within. And actually, the most attractive part of them may be there. That's just glorious. But because we decide someone needs to look a certain way in order to be happy and healthy, we just assume that they are glowed down and miserable. The same way as we assume someone's giving it all the glam, that they're happy. We know that that is not the case. So just let people be who they be.
We're all for that. That's what we preach. You be, you be.
You be.
You be, you be.
I think you be. We all be.
Okay, sis. What's it like coming from a highly visual environment into a more corporate is more about delivery and productive environment?
What I have found is more that I think I'm quite trained in terms of just the external to have a poker face. And look, from when I was very young as an actor, I remember my first agent, incredible woman. But if you went to see her and you weren't looking like you could walk into an audition, or you'd put on any weight, oh my God, she would take you for a walk around the swimming pool. Then you knew you were in trouble about something. And she would be like, what's going on? So you only ever showed up to her looking picture ready. And I think that kind of stuck with me. And then there'd been some other amazing leading ladies who were also like, you've always got to just be maintaining. So it's kind of part of my DNA because it's just been around for so long. It's not true for all actors. Many actors only put that on when they just get onto stage. So it's just the training, the kind of embedding that I had. So transitioning into a corporate world, I carry that with me. So people often think I'm too glamorous in like going into an office, or why do you bother taking so much time in the morning? But that's just because it's actually my habit. It's how I show up. I like to walk into the world and feel like I'm contributing something that's happy. And so I have found, though, especially living in the UK where there's less time to travel, and especially when it's really gray the whole time, that I could spend weeks with a hat on my head and but then it's not just the external. It's like you're wanting to just kind of isolate. Yeah, everything feels glowed down. So it really can happen here, especially in the Northern Hemisphere where there's long gray months. But I'm naturally quite a happy creative person. So I like to express that in how I show up every day. Even if I'm walking from here to the shop, you're not going to find me in my slippers.
Oh, that's not a truth. That is not a truth, because you wear those Uggs out.
Although the woman at the bakery did say to me the other day in our little village, she's like, "Oh, he's so glammed up." And I thought, am I? It's lip gloss. So
Yeah.
feel free to judge me if you want, but it's not because I have an unhealthy obsession with needing to look a certain way. It's just it's how I express myself. I like to be a canvas and do things.
I love that. I do want to say, I think it's also the age group that we are at, or it's our generation, because coming up and building my career, you showed up, at least my training has been, I don't know how I was trained. My experience has been, you show up, you leave your personal stuff at the door, you're here to do a job, you should be professional, you conduct yourself in a certain manner, you present yourself professionally. And so before I went into corporate, I had met you when I was working for Singapore Airlines, had I?
Yes.
So I worked for Singapore Airlines and Malaysia Airlines in my early 20s. And then you went on training, how to do your makeup, how to present yourself, which makes a lot of sense, because if you've got people from all over the world and you've got a standard, especially with Singapore and Malaysia, actually, you've got a standard in terms of what your representatives need to look like. They taught you how to do your makeup, how to present yourself. And so whether I'm in the office or I'm working from home, I always get myself ready. There's no wearing tracksuits. And if I have got an important interview or meeting, I put high heels on, because that's my uniform. And so I used to look forward to Casual Friday, and Casual Friday meant jeans with a blazer and boots.
Heels or boots.
Because the 4 other days I was in heels and slacks and a top or a dress or something along those lines. So it's wild to see people coming in and looking like they've, are heading to the beach. I did consulting for an investment bank in Johannesburg, and it was amazing for me because it felt like I was on the set of Mad Men. The men were all suited and booted, 3-piece suits, and the women looked like they were coming in from the beach. So I think it also depends on how serious you take your own career, because while we're saying don't judge the book by its cover, we all do get judged on first appearances. And that's what we were taught as well. You have 5 seconds to make an impression. And it's very difficult to change someone's viewpoint of you. Now, today is a little bit different, right? And I'm all for individuality, show up, but I still think you do it as I've said before, you've got to do it within the constraints of the environments that you operate in.
Yeah. Dress the part. Dress the part we want to hear.
And that's another saying that we were taught. Don't dress for the position that you have today, dress for the position that you want. And that's what you were saying to me as well. Like when you walked into that lunch, you were dressed in a manner that embodied the character that you wanted to be positioned for. We are visual animals, and how you present externally tells a story. Whether it's the right story or not, you are giving a story. God, I'm such a wise young woman. I give myself credit. Bloody hell.
It surpasses your years.
Surpasses.
The same way it exceeds my budget.
What exceeds your budget?
My taste exceeds my budget. I was told that looking for jewelry one time in my glow up phase, and there was this beautiful Cartier ring, and the jeweler said to me, "My dear, your taste outweighs your budget."
This is the story of our life, Ange. The story of my life. If I walk into a store, guaranteed I will like the most expensive thing, but it will not be the most glamorous thing. I like quality and,
timeless,
I like good craftsmanship. I can spot quality.
So, glow up, glow down is, in our opinion, what we say is a state of being, a state of mind,
State of energy.
a state of energy, and how we appear in the world is just, and maybe that's what we need to keep in mind, is what we put out there is what people see. People going past you or interviewing you for the first time or in your workspace don't have time to sit there and unpack your whole story. So what you give people is what they're going to take. So choose how you want to present in the world, and that's your choice. Like, no one else should decide that for you. Have fun with the glow up and glow down as well. We take it so seriously.
Here she goes again.
Don't get me all feisty like the last podcast. All right, sis. Anything else that you would like to leave as a pearl of wisdom?
I think you summed it up. Glow up, glow down. It is a state of energetic being. And just to add one thing is how you show up is what you attract.
Yeah.
That's why Angela attracts sunshine and roses, because she skips down the road.
Let's drink to that.
Let's drink to that. Salute.
There's a lot in here. Oh my God. I put too much in there.
Thank you for watching. If you have comments, suggestions, feedback, please email us on notuspod@gmail.com. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and watch us on YouTube. Until next week, bye-bye.
Girl.